To kick it off, we are just going to go ahead and start with probably the biggest thing going on. Well, I'm not going to say the biggest thing going on, but the most buzzworthy thing going on right now in the culture, and that is the rap beef going on. It is starting with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. There's also Metro Boomin and Future that have been involved and kind of kicked this off with the "We Don't Trust You" album, and then "We Still Don't Trust You" album, which was the second installment of that series. It is number one right now on Billboard, selling 127,000 copies this past week. So they have two back-to-back number one albums, "We Don't Trust You" and "We Still Don't Trust You." On "We Don't Trust You," the first installment, we get the record "Like That," featuring Kendrick Lamar, surprise feature, uncredited, and he has some say a scathing verse. Um, that song is still number one right here, and he kicks off everything that we're getting ready to discuss here. In this song, he says, "Fuck the big three, it's just big him." And he's making threats, and it's up. He's snatching chains and burning tattoos. So then let's fast forward. Drake. Well, let's slow it down here. J. Cole, who was on an absolute tear, rapping. He was killing verses for the last 5 years, and many people consider him to be the best rapper in the game. J. Cole had something to say about it because Kendrick called him out in the verse as well, and J. Cole ended up releasing a surprise mixtape kind of album on DSPs on Spotify, and it was called "Might Delete Later." He has an installment of these verses that he does called "Might Delete Later" Part 1, Part 2, and then for Part 3 he gave us the whole album "Might Delete Later." And on "Might Delete Later," and at some point I want to touch on this whole body of work because there is some incredible verses in this "Might Delete Later" series. But the one that caught a lot of attention is the last song, "7 Minute Drill." This is where he takes aim at Kendrick Lamar. He attacks Kendrick Lamar's body of work. He attacks Kendrick Lamar's persona, and so forth. So that was J. Cole's response to the Kendrick Lamar's verse. And a few days later at Dreamfest, the festival in Dreamville that J. Cole hosts and runs, he got on stage and decided to commit rap suicide. Essentially, he apologized for the verse and said that he was going to take it off of streaming platforms and that he necessarily didn't believe a lot of the things that he was stating. So for that, a lot of people got on J. Cole. It was really unprecedented what he did as a rapper, especially to be in the bag that he was in. He was in an element where he was reaching upper echelon rap tier. So for him to get on stage, he had a lot of comments as far as it just didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with his spirit. He couldn't sleep, this and that. So he did what he felt best in his spirit, which was to take it down and to apologize about the diss. I thought it was absolutely crazy. I know many of his fans thought it was crazy, and many of the rap community and just people in the culture think it's still crazy today. There's rappers like Jadakiss and Cameron and 50 Cent. Everybody chimed in about this, saying their own 2 cents and where J. Cole was at. And we get it from a standpoint where if he really didn't feel like engaging, then we understand that. However, when you do what J. Cole has done the last 5 years, which is body a lot of verses and a lot of people on verses, but not only that, he's made it clear that that was his intentions. And during these verses, he's proclaimed time and time again that he's the best rapper alive and nobody can mess with him. So, at the first sign of smoke, it seems like he tucked his tail and ran. So a lot of people take issue with that, me being one of them. However, what I truly believe and what a lot of people speculate is that J. Cole had received information. I don't know from whose camp, either Kendrick's camp or Drake's camp, but I'm pretty sure he's received information, and one of those camps told him to get out the way. That this beef has nothing to do with him. That song had nothing to do with him. And TDE and OVO, TDE being Kendrick's former label, but still close associates, and OVO being Drake's label. One of those camps reached out to J. Cole and said, "Get out the way. It's not rap beef. It's not just rap beef. It's about to get personal and disrespectful." So that bleeds me into my second point. My second point is regarding these two, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. They've been at the top of the food chain for the better part of a decade now. And during this decade, they've gone back and forth, as far as sneak disses and certain little lines. And this stems all the way back. I don't have the time to kind of narrate that history. I will at a later point, but this stems far, far back. And I see a lot of videos and a lot of people kind of talking about their beef. And I think people are even missing really the antithesis of their beef. This stems back far, far, far. So they've been sending shots back and forth. I think it's very interesting right now. Marcellus Wiley, a few years back, said that there was a ESPN when him and I think Max Kellerman was on Sports Nation. They did an interview, and he never disclosed who was who, but he said that there was an interview that was getting ready to come out, and one of the parties was very disrespectful to the other camp or the other party, and that interview got pulled and shelved by that person's team because they said, no, we cannot let that get out. Well, fast forward, just I think yesterday or so, Marcellus Wiley was on Vlad TV where he makes mention, he finally lets out the information because, hell, we're here now. Ain't no need to hide in nobody's hand. We're all here now. It's all out in the public. Everybody knows they're beefing. So Marcellus Wiley says that it was actually Drake. And Drake went up there and went in on Kendrick and his team and said he's not to be compared to them and called them names and stuff like that. And this was in LA. So after that interview was shot, Drake's team reached out to Sports Nation and their higher up people and said, do not air that interview. And we do not want that aired. And, they went back and forth on, because, that's a groundbreaking interview. If you're Sports Nation, you're getting an exclusive for something that, it really don't have nothing to do with sports. But, to get that on your platform would have been huge, especially during the time. This is back in 2015, 2014. So Drake and his team apparently told the Sports Nation's producers and stuff that Drake would not host the ESPYs, which was coming up soon after that in Los Angeles. He would not host the ESPYs if this interview aired, which I think that was an astute business decision by Drake and his team, because if that interview gets out, that really expedites this beef, and it could get nasty, especially in LA. So I get it from that standpoint. I wish the interview came out, and I'm sure in the midst of all what we're seeing today, that interview is going to come out. I'm pretty sure about it. I'll be interested to see how this comes out. So so that's that part of it. Like I said, J. Cole apologizes for his verse or his song, 7-Minute Drill. Drake does not apologize. Drake 2 weeks ago drops, first, and I have a problem with this. First, this record called Push Ups get leaked. It gets leaked by his team. They claim that he has a mole in the camp, and they give the song out to everybody, a lot of people, and they wanted to see who leaked it so they can spot the mole. Granted, I get that. That's a smart, shrewd assessment. But a lot of people feel, me included, that he leaked the record. They leaked the record to get a feel. It's kind of like a cheat code. If you leak that record with not the CDQ quality, not high resolution, not high quality, it sounded very unfinished. If you leak that record, you can test the water on how people are feeling about the record before you officially release it. If the people are like, what the fuck is this? Then you just blame it on, it got leaked. This ain't really real. And I'm going to touch on some other points about AI and stuff like that. But with the leak record thing, you can you can pull back. You can pull back essentially and say that it's not real or it's not finished. That was not supposed to come out. However, the record gets leaked. It's met with a lukewarm reception. People warm up to it, and then the official record finally comes out. Not on DSPs. It just comes out through DJ Academic's page. DJ Academics gets the exclusive. He premieres the record. Shortly after that, Rick Ross then jumps in, who is involved. He's on the Metro Boomin and Future project, and he's throwing shots at Drake as well. So, I mean, it's this whole big rap civil war, and it looks like everybody's against Drake. So Rick Ross sends a record back, and in that record, he goes at Drake and calls him white boy and all types of names. He's trying to take that angle that Drake is a foreigner in hip hop, and that Wayne made him and he owes Wayne money. So this is the angle Ross takes, and I'm just trying to set up a timeline so we kind of get to where we're going. So fast forward, they go back and forth for the following week on Instagram through Instagram captions. Not my kind of sort of thing, but they go back and forth. It's really entertaining. It was really funny, but it was a lot of rich people problems. They're talking about mansions and projects and houses and jets and cars and who got bigger this and who got more money. So that's all above me, all above my pay grade, way out of my rim. So then Drake this past weekend drops another record called Tailor Made. He's tried the back-to-back method against Kendrick Lamar. He drops another record called Tailor Made where he is going at Kendrick and Kendrick's inability to come outside and come up with something fast. Unique angle. I wouldn't say unique angle, but I could see that angle being played. That's probably his best angle to be played. In fact, I think on my previous video, I said I wouldn't be shocked if he dropped a third diss because he's trying to force Kendrick's hand. So right now, if you look at it like, if Drake and his camp feel, because it's reported and rumored that Kendrick has had his diss ready for years. 4-year-old record was what was reported. And I mean, as a Kendrick fan, I could tell you guys, I could have told you guys 5 years ago he had a record for Drake. So I don't think this is a matter of Kendrick needing to go back to the drawing board or he can't come up with something or he's scared. I think he knows. So if this is chess, Drake made the first move and Kendrick is trying to angle himself because he knows if Drake, who is a very shrewd operator with a lot of backing, if Drake made these aggressive moves, he has moves C and D planned out as well. So Drake's angle is to get Kendrick to come outside as soon as he can. That if this is a fighting style, he wants Kendrick to throw his jab, or he wants Kendrick to show his hand. He wants Kendrick to throw his uppercut. And Kendrick's angle is he's waiting for the perfect time. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali was known for that as well. He would let somebody wear themselves out with his back against the ropes, and he would just let you wear yourself out, and then he would come at you with fury while you already tired yourself out and you emptied your chamber. So this is that kind of battle here. I think that, a lot of people on the internet they think that there is, well, for the people that think that Kendrick is not able to come out with something, or he's scared, or he's backtracking, or this is just kind of like on brand for Kendrick. He drops a bomb every couple years and then he runs away. Those people haven't been paying attention enough. That's just, it's simple and plain. These two camps, but especially Kendrick and his camp, are the most calculated people. They're very calculated, and I'm willing to bet they have a plan. They have a plan. Styles make fights, and they're just executing their plan how they see fit. So a lot of people are saying, well, if he don't respond by this date or this date, then I'm labeling it a dub. Well, you go ahead and label it a dub, and that's fine. But I'm here to tell everybody that when Kendrick comes, and he is going to come, when he comes, everybody's going to flock to it. and it's going to be the topic of discussion. So you can say what you want, but we're going to see. And it's rumored, but this is through Maul from the Rory and Maul podcast. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, who has close connections to OVO. He says that it's rumored that Kendrick Lamar is coming out with an album in May, and he may wait to respond to Drake in May. So, that's to be determined. Maybe that is part of their plan. I think they have something way more sinister up their sleeve. Kendrick Lamar has gotten off of TDE with his last album, and he is now with PG Lang, his own company, and it is a multimedia company. Him and Baby Keem and Dave Free. Now with this company, they have is not just for music. It's not just a music label. It is a multimedia company, and I just want to kind of throw that out there for people wondering what could Kendrick been working on. I don't know, maybe a short film. Maybe he has video of certain things and maybe he wants to premiere in certain ways. Or maybe he'll do it all. I don't know, but I do know something is coming.